Let's work on some basic fingerless gloves for men. Today's movie is an overview so that you can collect your thoughts and materials, and then each of these gloves will be featured in a separate movie. They are all very much alike, but looking from left to right, they are mid-gauge, bulky, and standard versions. I will show you how to make two different styles of thumb. This is a single bed pattern, so any machine can do it, and mostly we use hung hems for both the wrist and the fingertips. But I will also cover how to make ribbed hems top and bottom if you prefer to do so. I've designed a lot of fingerless gloves. This is my most recent pair, and I have pretty much thought of them as a female thing for girls and women, and more for fashion than function. I was inspired to create this pattern for men when a friend of mine took the heart gloves pattern for women, adapted it to be a little bit simpler and faster so that she could add it to her charity knitting. She does a lot of work for the homeless. Thinking about that, I realized there are just as many men in difficult situations as women, and I checked with fellow knitters and found that men don't find very many patterns for fingerless gloves, and quite a few of my male friends do use them in situations where dexterity is required, but it's a wintry situation. So it seemed to be time to create a pattern for men in a lot of sizes, and here it is. Because of the charity knitting possibilities, I wanted this pattern to be really accessible to everyone, so I'm keeping it really basic. In the future, I may create fingerless glove patterns for men with greater shaping and more beautiful details. This pattern is super fast, and basically, it's a rectangle with some extras. As I mentioned, each gauge will be treated to a separate movie, but as closely as possible, all of them have these same measurements in common. 2-inch long cuffs at the wrist, 1.5-inch long cuffs at the fingertips, a 1-inch tall thumb piece if you knit one, 1.5 inches between the wrist cuff and the beginning of the thumb, 2.5 inches from the end of the thumb to the second hem. You may lengthen the wrist cuff if you wish, but I don't recommend shortening it. If you need to alter length, the 2.5-inch straight knitting is a good place, and you may shorten or lengthen the fingertip hem. The various circumferences do overlap with women's sizes, which is a true fact about male and female hands, and they range from 8 to 9.5 inches in circumference from small, medium, large, and extra large gloves. That counts on 0 ease, neither negative nor positive. Some people prefer their gloves with a 1/2 inch of negative ease. If you choose to do that, go down a size in circumference, but knit the thumb opening size that is given for your actual measurement. I think you'll find the fit better that way. Here are the various thumb opening lengths listed. This particular glove was made with the alternate thumb style. It is faster to work, it's flatter, and it allows for more freedom of movement. But it isn't quite as secure on the hand, so the choice is yours. I'll explain how to make this when we actually get to knitting. Let's talk about the various gauges and yarns. The most you are likely to need in any size of any yarn is about 3 ounces total. The standard gauge version is for 7 stitches, 10 rows per inch. Any number 1 yarn, some number 2 yarns will do, and if you can afford it, Regia sock yarn makes wonderful fingerless gloves. The mid-gauge pattern is 5.5 stitches, 8 rows per inch, using a number 3 yarn. One that I like to use, Karen Simply Soft, is technically a number 4 yarn, but it's on the very low end of number 4 and very soft, so it gets the gauge for me on my mid-gauge machines. Plus, it's locally available and comes in a lot of colors. The bulky pattern is for 4 stitches, 6 rows per inch. I can recommend a couple of yarns that will work well. They perform similarly to me. There's always good old Red Heart Super Saver, available in so many colors and so many places. And if you don't mind ordering, Mary Maxim Starlet is also available in a lot of colors, including rags. Both yarns are durable and perform nicely on the bulky machine. I am going to cover every size in the movies, but if you're somebody who likes written patterns, the Warm Hands Workbook is where you can get both of these new patterns, in addition to all the ones shown on the cover of the original book. There will also be a written version of this basic men's fingerless glove pattern in Country Knitting of Maine News and Views sometime in 2023, possibly 2024. So get together a little bit of yarn, do a little bit of swatching, and we'll get together again soon to knit these gloves.